Ghana, yes, our trendy will be a kind of one same. Everybody is trying to drag him. Some are dragging him and some are defending him near there. I'm speaking of chairman. You can't chairman to me. Yes, chairman to me trendy number one. Ghana Hanum say say it is based on 1 or 2 and Sembia the Attorney General about the ababeto emonten so enche ye bia no ye the updates bi by na omochemu said they've not gotten enough evidence edit ya ye nsema enam so omode chema untimi ko jinemu court until looks like he's on the winning edge, but as a ensema APP ba no it looks like chema untimi or kikako ni dumu anesa. Now Chris is here. Before I back to some of the things Attorney General the eto emonten so no, just give us a brief hitch of what the Attorney General said.
Yes, said Odika Kaino and some of the Bana Yach chairman Omudi Niema Omuye Niema.
Okay.
I must say the one shot now soon a bit me Ayashi or horse and some Attorney General did to John say Bonon Quadia and I bit me Ayashi because I had then a proof for my invoice, which would the better say a receipt I went to your home.
Okay.
Enti eno honsem na wo hosa no nti yekutie ba am se de nchemu dodo na edebema eje ahwefo na etifo
ebusia yenje bre na yenti said the Attorney General etresa ansem we mu nyina FI
payment systems and wanted to be paid in cash. In order to execute the project, Wontumi Farms Limited had submitted a pro forma invoice to Exim Bank for the purchase of farm equipment, including tractors, combined harvesters, corn seeder machines, and Wellington boots. The invoice was submitted on December Limited would then receive funds directly from Exim Bank for onward disbursement to workers, to the workers' wallets as salaries and allowances. Ladies and gentlemen, Wontumi Farms Limited failed to provide a database of farmers, of farm hands to IBAN Capital, as there were no farmers working on the land, no farm hands working on the land. According to witnesses, Chairman Wontumi, as CEO of Wontumi Farms Limited, insisted and put pressure on IBAN Capital and Exim Bank to transfer the 400,000 meant for the workers to Wontumi Farms Limited on the basis that the youth who were involved in Galamsey were not used to complex electronic payment systems and wanted to be paid in cash. In order to execute the project, Wontumi Farms Limited had submitted a pro forma invoice to Exim Bank for the purchase of farm equipment, including tractors, combined harvesters, corn seeder machines, and Wellington boots. The invoice was submitted on December 15, 2017 as part of the loan application process. Subsequently, Exim Bank demanded proof that the equipment has been purchased. On March 18, 2018, Chairman Wontumi submitted a receipt from a company known as Kasama Enterprise for the purchase of the equipment in the sum of 4 million Ghana cedis. However, and this is where it gets interesting, the equipment purchase as shown on the receipt included bulldozers and excavators. Our investigations established that Chairman Wontumi had approached Kasama Enterprise, an industrial equipment dealer, and obtained an invoice with a promise to return to purchase the said equipment. He never went back to purchase the equipment. Instead, and this is where the criminal enterprise began, he forged the invoice he obtained from Kasama Enterprise by removing the word invoice and replacing it with receipt. This forged receipt was then submitted to Exim Bank as proof that he had purchased the equipment after the disbursement of the loan facility. The owner of Kasama Enterprise confirmed to investigators of the Economic and Organized Crime Office that the only document he issued to Wontumi Farms Limited through Chairman Wontumi was a pro forma invoice and not a receipt. He stated that after he issued the invoice, he never heard from Chairman Wontumi again, despite repeated follow-up calls. The forged receipt submitted to Exim Bank suggested that Kasama Enterprise acknowledged receipt of the sum of 4 million Ghana cedis for the purchase of earth-moving machines and farming equipment. The so-called receipt had on it and ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is what gave him away: 50 days to supply and 1 year guarantee and service. Now, I hope you understand what this means. That when you receive a pro forma invoice, okay, pro forma means that you've taken it with the intention of purchasing. And so they will give you a timeline, okay, within which the supplier will supply you the equipment. And then also, if there are any guarantees, services or guarantee terms, they will be indicated on the pro forma invoice. But Chairman Wontumi, as I said, took out invoice and replaced it with receipt to, deceive Exim Bank that he had actually purchased the equipment. Investigations established that Chairman Wontumi did not purchase any equipment, and as such could not register any equipment in the joint names of Exim Bank and Wontumi Farms Limited as per the loan conditions, even though funds were disbursed to him to that effect. That all the equipment he claimed he purchased could not be traced. Investigations established that though Chairman Wontumi submitted the forged receipt to Exim Bank, he stated during interrogation that he purchased second-hand brand new, whatever that means, second-hand brand new equipment, and that the receipts of all the purchases, including the documents on the equipment, were all sent to Exim Bank. However, Exim Bank has confirmed that neither Chairman Wontumi nor Wontumi Farms Limited submitted any documents covering the purchase of the required equipment except the forged receipts. In fact, when our investigators went to the ground, they realized that there were some obsolete, decrepit machines on the side, tractors dating back that were manufactured in the 1970s, and that were not functioning, were the ones that had been placed on the farm. So this was definitely a grand scheme designed to defraud Exim Bank. It is clear from our investigation that Chairman Wontumi and his company, Wontumi Farms Limited, made fraudulent misrepresentations to Exim Bank with a view to obtaining the loan facility, and in fact did obtain the loan facility. The equipment they represented were to be purchased were never procured. The farming enterprise never materialized, and so no young persons were employed in Asare Nkwanta in the Ashanti region. But more importantly, the company and its director and CEO forged a receipt in order to deceive Exim Bank that they were in compliance with the loan conditions. These are not mere breaches of a contract, but constitute acts of criminality, by no means a person than the regional chairman of the then ruling party. In the circumstances and the face of the evidence we have gathered in this investigation, thoroughly conducted by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, we have made the decision to prosecute Wontumi Farms and its directors with defrauding by false pretenses, forgery, and causing financial loss to the state in the sum of 24,255,735 Ghana cedis. This figure represents the principal sum plus the interest that has accrued so far. And ladies and gentlemen, by the time we file charges, which will be definitely after the Christmas break when we resume work, it might be that this figure would have increased because the interest on the principal keeps compounding. And so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this, criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file charges in court. Ladies and gentlemen, in the case involving Mr. Percival Apalu of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged and filed a suspicious transaction report with First Bank Ghana Limited regarding transactions on an account belonging to Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is a company owned by the said Kofi Apalu. Following the STR, that is a suspicious transaction report by the FIC, the Economic and Organized Crime began an investigation into the matter. The investigations revealed that Poma Universal Ghana Limited, a business entity owned entirely by a lady called Ekua Poma, was the legitimate contractor that was awarded a feeder roads contract by Cocoa Board. The contract, which was valued at 29.5 million Ghana cedis, was awarded in December 2020. Although the project commenced and an initial amount was properly deposited into Poma Universal Ghana Limited, subsequent payments raised serious concerns regarding misrepresentation, forgery, and unauthorized handling of the checks. Our investigations revealed that Apalu secretly incorporated another company, separate and distinct from Poma Universal Ghana Limited, also known as Poma Universal Ghana Limited, but deliberately added H to the Poma. So Poma is P-O-M-A-A, all right, Ghana Limited, which is a company which is owned by Ekua Poma. What the company that he incorporated added H to the Poma, so it became, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the same Poma, yeah, Poma Ghana Limited, Universal Ghana Limited. But the difference was just the H at the end of Poma. And so after having done this, between December 2022 and June 2024, Apalu collected 8 checks issued by Cocoa Board in the name of Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is the original and authentic Poma, totaling 3.1 million. That is 3,169,432 Ghana cedis and 22 pesos, and deposited them into the account of his own company, that is also Poma Ghana Limited with an H at First Bank Ghana Limited. Again, our investigations confirmed that Ekua Poma was unaware of both the existence of the Poma Ghana Limited, that is the second company, and the diversion of the funds until Cocoa Board contacted her in June 2024 regarding outstanding balances on the contract. She subsequently discovered that Apalu had collected and misdirected the payments without her consent. Ekua Poma also alleged that Apalu forged her signature on the Cocoa Board contract using her former name, Mercy Owusu, to secure the agreement without her authorization. First Bank Ghana Limited conducted an internal investigations and corroborated the fraud allegations that we have made, concluding that Apalu knowingly misrepresented ownership of the checks and deposited them into the wrong account. The bank acknowledged operational failures in detecting the discrepancies between the check payee names and the account numbers. The suspects who have been investigated are Percival Kofi Apalu, Poma Ghana Limited, the Poma with the H, and Delvin Apalu, his wife. That is the spouse of Kofi Apalu. It's fast becoming fashionable to commit crimes with spouses these days. The evidence shows that they engage in various criminal offenses, including stealing, forgery, and money laundering. And they will be charged by my office, again, as I said, upon resumption of work after the Christmas holidays. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the media, further to the update that I provided during my press conference to announce the conclusion of investigations into the buffer stock scandal, my office continues to work with other institutions of state to bring charges in relation to the oral investigation reports submitted by the National Intelligence Bureau. As you would have known by now, pursuant to discussions with the Auditor General, the sums of money involved in the National Service scandal have been disallowed by the Auditor General, and these sums have been surcharged on the public officers who superintended the looting of state.
Abusia, that is the Attorney General Yera Dominic Ayeni and Yokoti Nsema Waditu Montin so concerning a near Sebe Wontumi agada efa Chairman Wontumi ehu. Chris, before we move on no nsema Attorney General keke nyina no we be kase bia na brofo ni mususu na we ehu so a but ne tofa kakra bi ma ye enso so.
Yes, so in a minute no em say nsem no say de bobo ba na say de kan Chairman Wontumi em say no Chris ade na ode ne ho ato ase. Wo si ukodua bro enye bone MPP time now so could do bro no so you were mate.
Okay.
And na ukope loan, I think it was about 24 million Ghana cedis also. Exim Bank, Ghana Export and Import Bank. And also koji loan. And na ukoji loan na say which ready or they require there should be some level of commitment on your side. What I say also could do bro and see a bro na ukodua no. What are the processes that Wangasawa laid down? Then yes, all be scan there koye bibi fufro. What I say, okoye no mo say okay, and if approves of a year commitment towards the project in Embra. And I say only kasama for deal now. To bulldozers, ne harvesters, combined harvesters, ne plows, ne ade tractors, ne ade womo to the tune of 4 million Ghana cedis. No cry no then wait to we. These are some of the documents or gather I say or the kojisa loan. And they say or the coin no knowing said me fan say documents on the coin. One was a pro forma invoice and a forge receipt which shows say or ma toniema no etuaka. What I say it is more toniema no etuaka there. That means what committee on say what toniema we go there, then let's push you so that I mean we bet me on our projects and I come buy into being so that export and imports or more export side numpo they can I mean liaise with you na eja or met me export on niema we producing be and so omko hwe mu a eno no enko something or ma forge at a point in so yes fa oniema and I say ensase actually said this nsase ni nsase a wokọ akoye project no so we anya amfa ma we say we start adwuma na we be employ nkofu eno so fa ehun data crabra eno so a went me amfa ma enti I mean eno nyina keka bomu a na che say sa loan no mu hu ne say they went to defraud a Exim Bank. That is what the Attorney General is trying to say. They just went there with a fake document to defraud them say a beji loan abra new projects be amode kwa. So I mean rounding it all up no I'm say no
Abusia is really going to be a long year for Chairman Wontumi, but then